Said I struggle to get mine. Hustle from the bottom, the cover don't lie. 365 is in days and the phone shine. Hustle till I die, so whenever I shine. Your mama got a better
What up, dope people? It's your man Prof. This is another episode of Cigars and Friends. This week we are filming live locally at Churchill Cigar Bar in Scottsdale, Arizona. And today I got my special guest with me, Cigar Bar Sam. What's happening, brother?
Chilling, Roddy. Thank you so much for having me, man.
Yeah, for sure. So we live at Churchill, and as you know, every week we're sponsored by Kasi Cigars. You know what I mean? So this week I'm going with my go-to. I'm smoking on the Kasi Detroit. What you going with, Sam?
I got the Granny Randall, the Barber Pole. Always a big favorite of mine.
That's what's up.
Let's get started. I like this lighter because if I light it close to my face, it tells me when I need a haircut.
You feel that, definitely. So like I said, we on location this week. Thanks to everybody that's tuning in. We're gonna chop it up about cigars, man. We actually at the venue, which is definitely a very dope venue, and Kasi will be in here real soon. We're in the works of tighten that all the way up. But Sam, I want to talk about the cigar industry.
Yeah.
So how long have you been in the cigar industry?
I've been in the cigar industry. I'm 30 right now. I've been in the cigar industry since I was about 19, so going on about 11 years. It'll be about 12 years in a few months. It's given me everything. You know, cigars and whiskey is one of the greatest industries to work in, especially if you're someone coming from the restaurant industry or late night bar industry. It's one of the greatest segues if you want to jump, keep the same kind of money that you're making, and but not get cooked from a staying there till 3 a.m. kind of play. The clientele is definitely much different than what you deal with on a normal basis from a bar perspective.
That's cool. So I know it's a different from like a bar vibe, because a cigar bar is more of a chill vibe than a real bar. You know what I'm saying? Bad atmosphere. So in comparison, are you more so on the party side? Like some cigar bars that's kind of turned into clubs now almost.
Oh, entirely. And every cigar bar has their own clientele, has their own reason for being there. If you find yourself in like a party district, your cigar bar is going to, ultimately in the later hours, be more popular from like a club perspective. Ours is definitely more relaxed. On a Saturday night, you're not going to necessarily see or hear, like pop music. We usually keep it with like smooth jazz, but you'll see a poker table set up.
Cool.
You'll see birthdays, you'll see bachelor parties, you'll see group people. We have a ladies' night that pops off incredibly, where we get all of our female smokers together, and it is a great time. So it's a great place to converse and come together. I've seen every table be taken, and then half the room just joins into like one circle.
Dope.
Just through conversation. It's one of those the world is real small kind of things. You never really realize it till you're talking to the random person next to you.
Yeah, for sure. And it's a community. The cigars is definitely a community. And like you said, like the ladies' nights is huge. When I got into the industry, I realized how large the ladies' presence was in the cigar industry.
It's massive.
Yeah, I didn't know. I was clueless to it.
It's massive, and it's one of those things that's super underrepresented in the cigar industry, especially in total, but also in Arizona. As far as I don't believe there's any female ownership when it comes to shops in Arizona, but my clientele is extremely deep when it comes to the female presence. So, we always like to make sure that everything is geared towards cigar smokers, where gender is not something that we really take into account, although obviously ladies' night, but it's a good solid foundation for a clique of people that are going to be smoking cigars, drinking cocktails, and things like that. And I just want to grow it. I think it's one of those things where there's tons of women that believe, that cigars aren't feminine, and I think that's 100% just incorrect. I think it all comes down to to who's smoking the cigar.
Exactly. So how did you get into the cigar industry?
My pop and I used to smoke cigars after football games. So when I'd get done playing, we'd go onto our balcony in Washington, D.C. and Southwest D.C., and we'd smoke and overlooking the Anacostia River, and that was just a a ritual that we had.
Okay.
And then after that, I got into the industry. As soon as I left, I was a customer at a shop, and then I literally just didn't leave until they gave me a job. They basically paid me to leave after a few hours. That was basically the play, but it spawned something bigger. It's a phenomenal industry.
Oh, that's what's up, man. That's a good look. And so being in this industry, what have you learned about people? Because you have to deal with, even though it's a cigar community, it's still different types of people that come in here. You can deal with different races, different genders, like you said. You're doing with different personalities.
Oh yeah.
So how do you find that balance to adjust to different customers?
Well, I'll tell you, it's interesting because like the cigar industry, especially being like a Jewish guy from New York, you know, it's like the industry is about 95% Republican and white.
Okay.
You know, so you're going to have that from the jump. So I'm called a unicorn because there's just not many, you know, Jewish Dems, you know, running shops, whatever. But it's you don't have to change yourself for it. You know, you got to know obviously topics to touch on, topics not to touch on. But this is a cigar bar. We don't really adhere to the rules of regular bars when it comes to religion, politics, and sexual orientation. All of those things can be talked about here. You know, this is a cigar bar. The main reason why these things are so popular, why they're so different from regular bars, is you don't have to check your conversation. I mean, we don't allow anyone to be, you know, downright, you know, hateful or racist or anything like that. But at the same time, it's like the question can be asked, you know, whether it's going to upset somebody or not. The conversation happens here. This is a den for sometimes provocative conversation. You know, sometimes the talk is something that you wouldn't have at a normal bar. You know.
Yeah, for sure. So that's good though. It's good to be able to adapt to any environment of who comes in here. You know what I mean? Because I remember when I first came here, I felt it was very welcoming.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And it was definitely easy to conversation. Even having like asking information about different cigars, being knowledgeable about that, and just being a cool person. Because at the end of the day, that's what you want to be around. You want to chill about cool people. You don't want to. You want everybody to be comfortable.
Exactly.
So I think that's a big look. So, what is your vision for like you in the cigar industry? Because you already go by Cigar Bar Sam, so you definitely you're already locked in. So, what is your next move in cigars?
You know, I love the cigar bar content stuff. I don't think enough people are doing it. I think, you know, there's a massive following. And with the following mostly being 55 plus, a lot of people don't think about social media, you know, being a tool for it. But every single person I have scrolls. So I want to 100% make sure that we're constantly pumping out content, you know, the pet peeves, the things that we all go through, whether it be the guy that, you know, makes out with his cigar before using the public cutter or, you know, what have you. You know, we all have those things that we all notice in the cigar industry, like really any other industry that, you know, that's around. So definitely.
So building content.
Oh,
and content is king. You know what I mean? Because even like you say, it's more of an older demographic in cigars, but younger people are getting into it. I've noticed that the demographic is shifting.
I will say, I think I have one of the youngest demographics that I've ever worked with in the cigar industry. I used to run a shop about 5 to 6 miles up the street, and I did not have a young crowd. It wasn't an old crowd, you know. It was like 40 was the floor, kind of thing. But I mean, that usually lends itself to being 75 being the ceiling. So it was a much older clientele. And when I got out here, you know, I have so many kids that are like coming out for like the first time. You know what I'm saying? Their birthdays start with a 2. I'm just like, you know, you get it at a regular bar because like they're trying to get shots or they're trying to get Fireball and Jaeger and stuff like that. It's like they come in here, first off, very well dressed. I'm gonna give young people their flowers real quick, because when they come out, it's and I'm sure it's the ones that don't have money too. You know, they're like wearing it on the outside, but they come impeccably well dressed. It's always a good look, or look like they're coming off the golf course or something. But they're these 21, 22, 23-year-old somethings that are just in this market now, and they're here to stay, and they're here to stay for the next 30 years if history tells us anything about cigars. You know? Yeah,
well, because I noticed like a lot of times when people get introduced to it, they like it. You know what I'm saying? Once they understand like the concept or even like smoking it, because naturally younger people smoke it like they're inhaling marijuana. That'd be the first thing I noticed the new smokers do. Oh, yeah. And they probably almost choke themselves out. But once they understand the process of it, of actually smoking it, they like it.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean? And I think that's and it opened up a new like younger entrepreneurs too. So I think like talking business over cigars is a big thing. It's almost like, everybody talk business on a golf course.
Oh, yeah.
Now, a lot of business deals get done over a cigar.
Yeah.
and to be at the cigar bars.
Exactly.
So, you know, I think with more younger entrepreneurs, I think that's another way that they're being introduced to this industry.
Yeah, well, it's also a way to be elbow to elbow, shoulder to shoulder with people of a certain stature that you would never have the opportunity to talk to in as candid an environment, as open an environment as it is. If you tried to get a meeting with half the people that come in here, you know, on their time, you know, they charge you.
Yeah.
You know, by the hour, you know, you might not be able to get in to see them, you know, but if you're part of the community where, you know, you come down and sit down and you're here all the time, you'll have plenty of opportunities to rub elbows with these guys.
Yeah, just, what was that Thursday I was here? I chopped up with dude. We had a whole business tax meeting. Yeah. Just impromptu, just in the midst of conversation.
That's it.
And that's a beautiful thing, you know, using this as a networking tool, because like you said, if you coming on work time, you got to pay that fee. But if we just having a conversation, ain't no telling where that conversation leads to. And then that might build up to a business relationship or whatever from that. And it all came from the stick.
And look, it's not like a den for obviously like pro bono work.
For sure.
But you want to put yourself in a room where people are speaking about the same conversations that you're speaking about. More money, more moving forward, more progression. If people are still talking about the things that they had, you know, 2 years ago, you need to move that friend circle. You know what I'm saying? Or your acquaintance circle or your business circle, whatever it is. And this is a great place to do it. I have a regular, not even a crazy amount of like over the top social skills. He wasn't a social butterfly in school. And he came here, and over the 2 years that I've been waiting on him, he's a younger kid. He has blossomed. He did just personally, and then from a business perspective, I think he's doing like, I think he just had a TikTok did like 700,000 views reviewing cars. I mean, the guy is slaughtering it.
He found his comfort zone.
Yeah,
that's what it's about sometimes. Just breaking that shell. And sometimes you be around certain people that help you get there.
And let me tell you, there's another thing about it too, is that cigar shops are intimidating. You know, especially if you walk into one with the bar is tall, it's wide. Lots of liquor, expensive liquor, stuff that you've never seen, tasted, or even heard of. And then you walk into the humidor and there's 200 plus facings of cigars.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? Yet again, things that you've never heard of, seen, touched, you know, even, you know, $100 cigars, $3 cigars, you know, top to bottom, like, you know, an outrageous amount of selection. And you are, especially if you're young, you're so new to this. It's so much, it's so overwhelming. So I love when like the younger kids come in, the 21s, 22s, and we can get them on the right path for, you know, starting smoking cigars, and then a good plan for progression. You know, your palate changes over time. Just like whiskey, you might have started with Maker's Mark, and then you found it was too sweet and you had to move on to something else. And I have guys that were like strict bourbon or Irish whiskey drinkers because they liked how light it is, and now all they drink is rye. You know, they're looking for that pepper, they're looking for that spice. So I'm excited to help a new generation of, you know, cigar smokers and whiskey drinkers kind of find their footing.
Yeah, I think you're right in the middle, as far as age wise. And we're like the middle child. You know what I'm saying? In the industry, so that way you can still relate to the older crowd, and you can also relate to the younger crowd, and bring those mesh those together.
Basically J. Cole.
Yeah, you're the middle child. The middle child. That's what I was thinking of. That's definitely what I was thinking of. You know what I'm saying? The song fits the concept perfect. You know what I'm saying? You old enough to ride with the older generation, but young enough to actually still touch the younger generation.
That's cool too, because Jay-Z was just in here. So
yeah, so that's definitely a perfect mix. So when say I'm a new guy, never been to a cigar, I just like, you know, I'm gonna come try it. What would be the first thing you would introduce to them, as far as like just getting into it?
So you always want to go on the lighter side, especially if you're a new smoker. You want to stay with Connecticut's. Connecticut just means a very, very light wrapper. For the most part, cigars also, you can tell via the eye if it's going to be heavy or if it's going to be light. However, that doesn't always ring true. So that's why it's nice to have an operator of a shop that understands all the sticks in there. So if you're like, is this peppery or is this strong? Or, you know, is this going to sit me down? Like, can I go on the golf course with this? You know, is this going to make me sick? Tons of questions like that. But I always suggest new smokers start off with Connecticut and either go with a thinner ring gauge or a shorter stick. And the reason for that is you don't want to just go ahead. You want to try stuff, but it won't take you an 8-inch cigar to figure out if you like that cigar.
Exactly.
You know, you know, like cigars are split up into thirds by the way that we rate them. So the first third, the second third, and then the final third. So like if towards the end you like a cigar a whole lot more. That means the final third was much more appealing to you than the first two. But with a large one like that, I mean, it's just you'll get through. You could get through, a third and know what it's about just from pure size of the cigar.
Okay.
I mean, it's unnecessary in my opinion. I mean, if you're going on the golf course, someone might leave it behind, or you don't want to relight it 1,000 times. Every cigar has its purpose. It's a lot like wine. Good wine is the wine that you like.
Mm-hmm.
It's the same thing with cigars. But I would always start off everyone with a lighter wrap, and then if you find yourself a variant where it starts light and then it gets darker, go with that.
Mm-hmm.
Like personally, if the Tatuaje Monster Mash, I'm a huge fan of because they start from light and literally vary it all the way to dark. And even with yourself, you know what I'm saying, with the Big Red and the Granny, and then
the Detroit,
going up to the Detroit. Absolutely. You know what I'm saying? Those variants, those steps allow almost like a pre-made plan for how you're going to attack this line of cigars.
And that's funny you said that, because I started off smoking the Big Red, which is a Connecticut, and then I moved to the Barber Pole, and first the Detroit was a little too strong for me, and that was my go-to. This is what I pretty much smoke almost every day.
Yeah.
So what you said, I literally went through that cycle.
Yep.
And it's crazy that you would say that. I'm thinking damn, that's the same thing I did.
Yep.
Yeah, but it's definitely, I feel like gradually, starting from the Connecticut is definitely the way to go. I started off with a big gauge because that's just how we started. It was a 6x60. You know what I mean? But like I said, that was the floor for me.
Oh, absolutely. And I'll kick a little bit of free game. This is on me. I'm not going to charge anybody for this. But the highest quality cigars that you're going to get are the longest, skinniest cigars, because basically what people are paying for when they pay for a cigar are the binder and the wrapper. The inside is filler. It's just that, it's filler. Good companies use good filler, but there's no filler on this planet that's better than a subpar binder.
Okay.
So what you're looking for, what you really taste when you're smoking a cigar, is that wrapper, which is the outside part, and then the binder, which is the part in between the wrapper and the filler.
Okay.
So when you get long and skinny, they take out a ton of filler, but you still have the length that gives you more of the binder and more of the wrapper. So if you're ever looking, if you have to choose between a thicker and a thinner gauge, unless you have a personal preference, go thinner. You'll get a much more accurate read on whether you like that blend or not.
That's good advice. All my new smokers, man, take heed to that. It's definitely something to learn from.
Write that down.
Jot that down.
Write that down.
So far as getting into more cigar content, right? So what is the actual goal? Is it more of an entertainment thing or more of an information, or both?
You know what? I got to tell you, it's more of an entertainment thing.
Okay.
I think the content that's out there right now is extremely informative. It's just boring. It's just unbelievably boring. It's like you get guys, they'll teach you how to cut and light a cigar. They'll give you the history of cigars. They'll give you the difference between this and this. They'll do comparisons. They'll do pairings and tastings. Those are phenomenal. Those are unbelievably phenomenal. I just do that for a living. So my content's got to be something funnier, or else I go a little stir crazy with it.
That makes sense. That makes sense. And the entertainment value of it will actually, it'll reach people quicker than the info.
Oh, entirely.
You know what I'm saying? So people that it might introduce people into cigars.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Just by seeing the video.
Absolutely.
I know a lot of people that still go to and watch the information ones, because a lot of people don't know about cutting. I seen somebody the other day come and try to light the cigar without cutting it. They was new. They didn't know no better. I told them, you got to cut the cap first.
Well, let me tell you, I've heard plenty of. I remember hearing tons of stuff where, I was 5 or 6 years in, and I remember hearing someone say, "Oh, you got to light it before you cut it." And I was just there's a lot of people out here that are just spewing misinformation about cigars. There's, just like math, there's many ways to come to the same answer.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But there is a correct etiquette with some stuff with cigars. But
I would think that would be common sense, just airflow.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But you know what I'm saying? Sometimes sense ain't common. So we all know that. We definitely all know that. So being in this industry, what do you think you learned something in this industry that you probably wouldn't have got somewhere else?
Honestly, I'm I minor in finance now. To be honest with you, maybe mainly because of all the guys that I have that come in here that either are in money management or really are heavy in the stock market.
A lot of money guys been in the cigar bar.
Oh, absolutely. Tons of day traders, things like that. I got people that have sat me down and gave me 30-minute crash courses on how to trade on Robinhood, or what stock is, is going down or what's going up, or the newest form of electronic currency, things like that. I have guys that this is what they do for a living, and as long as I cut their cigar, light their cigar, and pour their whiskey, they share that knowledge with me. It's literally like the cloud. Everybody comes here, meets together. It's like Grand Central Station. Everybody comes here together, and instead of waiting for a train, you just talk about what's making you tons of money.
Yeah.
And it's phenomenal.
And I think that's their outlet though, because work is work. And when you actually just talking about what you do and what you do, it's just great conversation. And I think they be needing that release because it's not structured. It's not I'm had to be here from 8 to 5. I'm here relaxing. I can talk about what I know because you're comfortable talking about what you know.
Yeah.
And I think that's their biggest thing, just getting that outlet. And I think this is one of the places that give you that opportunity to do that.
Oh yeah. And most people won't say it out loud, but everyone likes to talk.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Everyone likes to talk. You just find it more so in a cigar bar. The talk gets backed up. It's like when you're in a regular bar, I can't tell you how many times I've had a guy come up to me when I'm on the patron side of the bar, not bartending. I got a great business idea if you want in on the ground floor type of thing.
Yeah.
And, it's like, I'm like, oh, well, like, what is it? And I hear it. And I was just like, that is just the worst. That's just the worst idea. Or it's a great idea. And he's like,
no follow through with it though.
Yeah. All I need is like $2.2 million. And it's just like, okay, it's like I have a great idea. If I had $2.2 million, also buy apartment complexes. I think we all do. Yeah, exactly.
I think we all do.
Exactly.
2.2. You can definitely launch some dreams
for the low price of $2.2 million.
Just 2.2. That's all.
That's it. You guys give $2 a month to the animals. You know what I'm saying? My God, I just asked for $2.2 million.
Just a cool 2.
That's it. 2 flats, fine too. I'll get over it.
We got to worry about the 0.2,
I'll
right?
Scratch and find the 200.
Yeah, it'd be funny. Like you get people that definitely have like ideas with no vision behind it.
Oh.
And then most of the time, a lot of people that have those type of ideas, they really don't have the idea. They see somebody else doing it.
Oh, big time.
So they feel like they can do it.
And that's why they have no follow-through. It's because they didn't put enough thought into it. It was a good idea. You know what I'm saying? That's like you have a product, not a company. You know what I'm saying? Like you want to, it's like you have like they say it on Shark Tank all the time. It's like you have a successful product, not a successful company.
Yeah, because a lot of people, like even the people that be online, like promoting, like building business and this and that, they show the start and the finish. They never talk about the middle. Because that's where the shit happens. That's where the sleepless nights, the taking losses and learning experiences is in the middle.
That's where the sausage gets made.
Exactly.
Yeah, you need a strong stomach if you want to see how the sausage is made.
Yeah, so a lot of people I notice when they speak on ideas in business, they talk about, okay, you can start it this way and you can make this much money, but they never talk about the middle.
No.
Because that's where the shit is accumulated and that's where most people lose. That's where most people fail at.
I mean, in all fairness, too, there's a part of it where it's like you pay, whether it be monetarily, whether it be time, whether it be other, you pay for that middle section where you are failing, where you are losing. There's a part of it to me also. It's like I don't necessarily want to, there might be a part of it where it's a little bit on like the spiteful side, but it's like I personally took the losses, lost the money, lost the time. It's like I need you guys to take your losses. You know what I'm saying? I can't give you the lesson off every single thing that I've lost on. It's like, that was for me. You got to take your personal journey with it. It's like if I can make a podcast and be like, do this instead of this. I mean, you teach a man to fish.
Yeah, exactly. You can get somebody to outline, but they got to fill in the blanks.
Yeah, exactly. Like you got to go on your own and fail. Failing is the greatest thing that you can do as long as you look at it that way.
Yeah, because if you don't take it as a loss, you take it as a lesson. Because man, I mean, how many companies I done started that didn't go?
Oh yeah.
And then I tell everybody, I think my thing is I'm not afraid to fail. No. Because if I fail, okay, guess what? I'm gonna try something else. Some shit just not gonna work. It is what it is. And then sometimes it just is you. Sometimes it's timing. Sometimes it's financing. It could be multiple tools of things. But I'm a person that I'm gonna try something else.
My favorite phrase, and I usually use this with most of the jokes that I make while I'm behind the bar. They're not all first round picks. Not every business is going to be a slam dunk. Not everything is going to net you $1 million. Not everything's going to get you 1 million followers. But if you don't try, you're not going to know.
Yeah, you're never going to know.
You have to dive in. That's why we're doing a podcast on Sunday morning at the Cigar Bar.
That's the hustle. That's the hustle.
You got it, man.
And that's like with my brand. Like I say, it kind of fell into my lap how it just happened. And it's a process. We like only a year in, but the growth is moving in small steps, but good steps.
As long as steps.
Yeah, as long as it's going up.
Yeah, as long as
I
baby steps are still steps.
Yeah, baby steps is definitely better than walking backwards.
And not to be that guy. Think about how stoked everyone gets over fucking baby steps.
Mm-hmm.
They're baby steps. They're babies. They don't even have jobs. You know, they take 2 steps. Everyone freaks out. They blow their minds. As adults, be as happy for your adult friends that are taking baby steps as small children.
That's real. Because sometimes you need to hear that. You know, supportive. You know, somebody who's throwing you, oh man, I see you, or I see what you're doing.
I'll tell you, there's a couple things that like it's weird, but it's like it's the idea of how we treat. You wouldn't you wouldn't lose it on like a 4-year-old for like dropping his glass of milk.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? It spills everywhere. It's like you should know better. It's like, no, like this is new to you. You know what I'm saying? If everyone approached themselves with that level of kindness when they're learning something new,
mm-hmm.
a lot of stress would be relieved. You gotta be kind to yourself, especially when you're doing something new that's gonna take baby steps. You know, taking the small victories is not because you don't have big victories.
Yeah.
It's that your small victories in the beginning are huge.
Yeah.
You know, but you need to treat it as such. You know, don't downplay it. It takes a lot of work for anything, any field, you know.
Yeah, even just the first step.
Oh,
the most easiest step is the hardest one. The first step is always the hardest because you're always in your head for one yourself. And then you got people that's doubting you that don't even understand it.
Yep.
You know how many people I talk to, like friends that I help, you know, I would say consult at some point, you know, help them start stuff, and they family members or their friends is telling them they can't do it, but their friends never did it or never even tried.
Oh yeah. Let me tell you, if you've been there and you tell me that I can't do it, I'm still probably going to try.
Exactly.
But I might take your words with less salt than, you know, someone who's like, I don't know, man, that sounds like a whole lot of work. It's like, and you know, he works at a grocery store. It's like,
so motherfucker don't even understand it. Like if you've never been in business, how can you give somebody that business advice or deter them from trying it?
Oh, absolutely. You know, I mean, a big thing of it also is like, I think COVID was one of those, you know, beautiful things when it comes to, you know, people that are, you know, hustling and things like that. It really showed you, you know, who's got it, who can get it out of the mud. And
then it also inspired people to try. A lot of people try because of COVID.
Absolutely.
You sitting still all that time. It was money flowing through. So it's time to actually make some plays. And I think COVID launched a bunch of entrepreneurs. Now, I don't know, a lot of them probably not still afloat right now, but it definitely launched a lot. And a few people made it through it. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And through that, they'll probably be there forever. Because, I mean, what's going to knock you down if you get past COVID?
A whole fucking pandemic.
Yeah, I'm about to say the whole world shut down and you made a business.
Yep.
And that sounds like you are as bad as recession proof as you can get there.
Yeah, and like I was telling a lot of people was like getting discouraged too, like because so many people was doing the same business. And I think people don't realize how big the world is.
Yeah.
Like we can sell the exact same thing and never meet each other's customers.
Well, also it's like, you know, you can get like if you get 1% of a market, depending on what size the market is, you know, you're
set.
You're a multimillionaire depending on what the market is. It's, you know, it's like.
And that's what I think that people don't fail to realize that my whole thing, one thing I always tell people is like go down the bread aisle. And look how many different loaves of bread, or go down the ice cream aisle. It's 50 different companies. You're going to choose what you want. So you just make your product good and your client's going to choose you.
Mm-hmm.
And then what I always tell people, because I do photography, I always tell people that I'm cool with that's photographers. I only can be one place. It's impossible for me to be at this wedding on this Saturday and another wedding at the same one. So if I get that gig, guess what? I can shoot that to you.
Yeah.
And vice versa.
Yeah.
Like even with the photo booths, I was telling you about the 360 and stuff. So if I'm booked and somebody call me, I can refer you because you got one.
Yeah. And
that's a big thing about networking. You know what I'm saying? Networking with people in your industry instead of trying to compete with them. You know what I'm saying? I said, like I sent my post out there and I said, we don't compete, we collab.
Yeah.
And I was talking about my boy, shout out to my boy Dennis from Fort River Cigars out of North Carolina. And we share information. Hey, I just found out this. We can do this, save some money on the business, blah, blah, blah. But most people say, oh, he got a cigar brand. I'm not fucking with him because I got one. And that's not how it works.
That's hatership. That's insecurity in your brand. I mean, unless you're one of these big boys where like, you know, collabing is not necessary.
Mm-hmm.
That's one thing. But it's like, if you're both small and you do that, it's the same thing with like local hip hop scenes.
Mm-hmm.
It's very similar where it's like, you have people that like want to make like a top 10 list
mm-hmm.
for like hip hop, and like no one, you know, I'm better than everybody else, and then anyone that's like not on the list is just like, come on, like let's collab, like all of us, you know, like let's make an album together. When you're not big, like exclusivity will make your bread last, but that's once you have something. You want to, if you start off, it's like starting a club with like no friends, and then just being like, hey, you want to be part of my club? Like no one's in it yet.
Yeah,
you know, it's like,
but that's entry level. That's just life. That's on anything.
Yeah. Well, no, true. But I mean, at the same time, is like, you know, that's got to be a public club. You know, it's like, you know, that's you and your best friend gossiping at that point.
Yeah,
you know?
for sure. But that's the luxury of trying.
Oh, entirely.
And then with people, like I say, with the other people that just don't want to do it, or feel threatened. See, like you said, that's an insecurity. You feel threatened by somebody else's presence.
Yeah.
And your product shouldn't threaten my product.
No.
Because I'm in a position like I'm trying to get my cigars in here with Rocky Patel, with Olivia, you know, all these people that have been here for years and household names. I'm not scared of them. Let's go.
Yeah. Hey, necessary.
You know what I'm saying? Let's go. And like how we talked about doing a collab.
Yeah.
And we just met and we clicked instantly. You see what I'm saying?
Instantly. But that's the thing with it, is that it's, especially from a local side too, where so many cigars aren't even made in America. You know what I'm saying? I mean, and even with blends, you know, being from like the Dominican Republic and Nicaraguan and stuff like that, it's like, it's always nice when your rep and the owner is from your state. You know what I'm saying? There's so much of that in Florida and whatnot, but not nearly as much in Arizona.
Exactly. So that's one thing. Like I had a meeting and they were surprised that I was the owner. They thought I was a rep. Like, oh, you rep for the company? No, I own the company. Yeah. You know, so it's like, you should have seen their face change. It was so funny to me. Yeah. Because I'm like, no. They was like, well, where it come from? I'm like, Nicaragua. But this is my brand. But it's processed there. That's where the plant at. You know what I mean? So being an owner operator, I mean, I just like the being able to control what I want to do. You know what I'm saying? I don't have to have if I'm working for somebody, I have to be in okay, well, I can only do this many units. This is my minimum. Yeah. This is my, you know what I mean? But by me, I can control the numbers. I can control what I want to put out. Okay, well, if I meet somebody that need, we small, we deal with a few boutique cigar brands, but we can start off with 30. Yeah. Most companies, bigger companies, won't even do that, or doesn't have the person representing don't have the authority to make that call. They have to call the upper ups. I can let's make the deal happen.
So it's one of the upsides that I actually really like to this. So I own a company, Big Bear Face and Hair. We make beard product and cosmetics and things like that.
I got it on right now.
Hey,
I use it this morning.
It's the best. Let me tell you, bourbon and sandalwood. It's called Barbershop. It's fantastic. We have 3 other scents as well, but that's our most popular. But when I would go into barbershops, I would actually say that I was a rep. And the main reason that I would do that is to literally make my silhouette larger. Okay. You know, if the company has a rep, they must be doing enough in sales.
Numbers, yeah.
To pay the rep.
Giving the look.
Yeah, exactly. And then if there's ever a sticking point where it's like, well, let's make a deal. It's like, oh, give me 2 seconds. Let me call my owner. I'll step outside and
have a conversation with yourself.
Yeah, exactly. You know, and I talked to him. He's being a bit of a son of a bitch today, but I think we can do it for you, you know.
What's up, Rich? We're gonna have to make that Atlanta thing happen, bro. Yeah, so that's a good thing too. That's just being able to finagle the business. Because some people just like the way that sound, like you say, just having a rep makes you look bigger.
Exactly.
But I want you to know that I own it. Like I want to put my foot on the ground, like so you can know if you see my face, I'm representing that brand. So that way, if you have any questions, anything, or you feel something's not right, you can talk directly to me.
I got a real thing with it where it's like my face doesn't need to like be a part of it. I got a real easy mentality with it. It's like, you bought the motherfuckers, you know, do whatever you want with them.
And see, mine is total opposite because I've started my brand off my personal friends and personal popularity on other stuff that I do. You know what I mean? Entirely. So I converted mostly, like I got a big following on Facebook with the photography. Yeah. So now that my name circulates with that, now I'm introducing you to the cigars. A lot of people my first set of customers were people that knew me personally. And then they bought it just on the strength it was me. And then they came back because they liked the product. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? And they could tell a friend, and then we just trying to grow organically. Like I said, I think I filed the LLC February the 20th of 2021. Or 2022, I mean. Okay. Now we started in January because the first month we just playing around with it to see if I was going to actually start the business. So we only a year in, and I think we surpassed our first year goals maybe 7 months in.
Oh, no shit.
Yeah, because we, like you say, we a small boutique cigar brand with 3 blends. So we trying to navigate this market. Like I'm only 6 years into cigars. I started smoking in 2017. So I'm still learning, but I'm learning on the go with the product. which can be good, sometimes it can be bad, but I'm not afraid to ask questions neither.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So, but like I say, in this industry, sometimes you meet people that can help you, sometimes you don't. Like I have to give a huge shout out to Definition Cigars out of Dallas, Texas. Like I got a mentor within their company that helped me a lot. So like I always tell my people, like I bump my head so you could duck. And so that's kind of what they're doing for me.
Yeah.
They're helping me with navigate some things that I didn't even know. And so like, and then you build relationships in the process. You know what I mean? Like I said, we just met. Now we about to be putting the Granny Randall's in the humidor, and now we're doing a podcast.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So
all in about a span of a day and a half.
Man, that's crazy, right? But that's how the network is. If you're gonna move, you gotta move how you gonna move.
Yeah. Well, also it's like, you know, if it's not talk, just do it. You know what I'm saying? If it's talk, then just keep talking. It's fine.
I'm too old to talk.
Nah.
It's going to have to make shit happen.
Yeah, right.
So that's what I'm big on. Just my biggest thing is just go for it. Balls to the wall, you know what I mean? And if it don't work, it don't work. But I'm always be like, I tried.
I mean, if you're gonna do it some way, that's how you gotta do it.
And then in this cigar lifestyle, man, I mean so many people all across the country. Like I got to get you on TikTok.
Yeah.
Like it's like a whole cigar TikTok.
Yeah, I gotta get on that.
And it's like,
actually, you know what? I started one. I gotta get used to the format for just posting content. And stuff like that. It's just different.
Yeah, but definitely like it's a whole cigar TikTok. It's crazy. It's a bourbon TikTok. It's like a bourbon and cigar TikTok. Then it's like a cigar TikTok, and it all just intertwines with each other. Because once I get on one thing, now the algorithm is just sending me all cigar smokers, which is helping building the brand. Like I say, every time I make a post, I made a post from here the other day. We got some sales just off that post. And I think that, you know what I'm saying, being in people's face, that activity, because so much people getting the content and stuff from so many different ways, but you be consistently on it, you in their face, and it helps. It helps on sales, notoriety. Yeah. Like, you know what I'm saying, like people that don't know about this cigar bar, they can hear from the podcast. Yeah. We at Churchill, Scottsdale, Arizona, you know what I mean? Come through. Yeah. Open every day at 10 a.m. You know what I'm saying? Scottsdale
and Mayo, whitest intersection in Arizona.
Yeah. So, you know what I mean? But it's all about getting out there so people can know that. On both sides, like both on the sales side and on the product side, you know what I mean? Because it's all about knowing. Like the guy I met here the other day, it was his first time in. Yeah, he loved it. He said he didn't like the party type cigar bars. No. And he said he liked this is what he liked. He liked to chill, smoke, and talk. Yeah, you know what I mean. And like other people, you might have more like the party environment one. Exactly. So you know, it's something for everybody. That's one reason I did 3 blends. Yeah. So that way I got something for each palate. Yeah. Because some people might want a Connecticut, some people might want a Maduro, then some people might fall in with like you like the Barber Pole. Yeah.
Everybody's different, and that's the upside with cigars. Just like liquor, and I've said it once, I'll say it twice. Good cigars, good liquor, good wine is what you like. Period. You know what I'm saying? If your bottle costs $19.99, phenomenal. It's cheap. It's great. You know what I'm saying? Nothing better than your liquor not burning a hole in your pocket.
Yeah, everything is personal preference.
Oh, entirely.
And then sometimes, like you say, you can get overwhelmed with all those selections. It's a lot.
It's a lot.
It's a lot.
And I've smoked everything in there. And I mean, it is a lot. It is a lot.
But once you find what you like, then you stick into that mold.
Yep. And then there's so many different ways to branch off from what you like. So if anybody has any cigars that they start with right now and they want to know a direction to go, whether it be one of Rod's cigars or it be something else that we have out in the world, comment and we'll give you a recommendation on anything that you guys are smoking right now and what to leapfrog to next.
So do you give a lot of pairing advice?
I give pairing advice as often as I can.
See, that's what I struggle with.
It's a tough one.
I don't drink.
Easy one. Oh,
so I don't drink. So people be like, what did pair with? And I have to give them recommendations with somebody else that smoked my cigars. Like, well, you know, one of my buddies, this is that, because I don't drink. And I think that's one thing that kind of hinders me. And it's hard for me. I can't tell you something I don't know.
It's yes and no, because I'll tell you the big thing about it is that there's a massive, massive culture in cigars of non-drinkers. You know, you get a lot of people that are either maybe like had a bad past with alcohol, they don't want to anymore, but they like the environment. So that's where cigars really steps in. It's a nice one. You have some people that just don't like alcohol. I'll tell you, my top 3 favorite things to pair cigars with that aren't alcoholic are probably like Dr. Pepper, cream soda, and root beer.
See, I'm Dr. Pepper or iced tea.
That's great.
That's
great. Coffee's also a phenomenal one as well. You can't get mad at it. A lot of good stuff out there that's not alcoholic that you can drink with. Also with pairings, I wouldn't think about it like too hard to the point where like you're not smoking a cigar unless you have like this pairing kind of thing. Like it's not that deep, but there are certain things that are going to complement a little bit more. You know, especially if you're drinking like a lighter whiskey or something like that, you don't want to be smoking a Maduro or something that's going to almost make it so you can't taste the liquor.
Yeah, so it overpowers it.
Yeah, it's heavy.
Yeah, that's cool. That's good to know. This is game we giving y'all on the pod. So if you
this is totally free. As long as I'm on the podcast, this is as soon as the podcast turns off and you call me, have your credit card information.
Because yesterday's price is not today's price.
Exactly.
So take heed to that, especially to all my new smokers that's just getting into the game, and like you say, start off with something light and see if you like it and go from there, because I mean exactly what I did.
Yeah.
And like we was doing a lot of Connecticut's, and like I say, now I'm in the Maduro. Now a year later, I love the Maduro. Like I would still smoke a Connecticut every now and then, but this is my go-to, is the Detroit. That's the one I smoke probably 3-4 times a week.
Yeah.
And, you know, when you got the inventory, it's easy too.
Oh my God.
Just go hit the stash real quick.
I'm gonna tell you real quick, like people ask me all the time, and I've actually always pondered it, not my own brand, but I definitely want to put out like a line of cigars. But my biggest problem is that having that many cigars at my fingertips, especially if I'm selling it, it means it's a cigar that I like. Having that amount of cigars at my fingertips is a lot.
See, when I do my re-ups, I always order enough that I can put my stash to the side.
That's a way.
Yeah, and then another thing I do with far smoking other people's cigars, if I go to a cigar bar, I always buy 2 cigars from their humidor. But when I'm at the cigar, I actually smoke my own because I'm taking pictures for content, promo. God. But I always patronize the cigar bar, and I take that home and then build up my personal humidor.
So this is a super important point for anybody that's new to the cigar industry or new to lounges. You always want to patron the humidor.
Yep.
Even if you're not going to smoke it there, you don't even, in my opinion, personally, like if you buy a stick from the humidor and they don't let you smoke your own stick, don't go back to that shop. It's not that they're wrong. It's that there's plenty of shops where as long as you are buying stuff from the humidor, you can smoke your own stuff. If you have a Partagas number 4 Series D that you got from Cuba and you want to smoke it here, I am not going to tell you no as long as you are buying something from our humidor.
Because it's still the same. It's the exact same.
Yeah.
Because if I buy it and smoke it here, as long as I bought it here, it's still the same amount of money I was going to spend. So everybody wins.
That's it. Don't stop bringing your own steak to a steakhouse. It's embarrassing. Right? At least buy a steak to go. Yeah, you definitely got to patronize them, because you're using these lounges, and they got bills to pay too. These lights don't run for free. Yeah, man. My landlord loves when you guys buy cigars because it allows me to pay rent, and he's a big supporter in me paying my bills on time for sure.
And the first is next week.
Why you gotta bring that
it's
up?
coming right back around too.
Yeah. It was just like 20 days ago. This is ridiculous, man.
Definitely.
It's the first again.
Man, it's like it's every 14 days. I'd be like, God damn, it's time again.
I say that about my girlfriend's birthday all the time. I'll just be like, didn't we just do this last year?
Yeah, it's the pops. Everything's, man. Time is moving, man. Time is flying. Like I say, like we here in that first year went by super fast. And
it also doesn't help February goes with it being a shorter month. It's just one of those things. Like once we get to March, everyone's just like, wasn't it December like a month ago? And
then you still feel like you lost a year because of COVID.
Oh man,
because that shit time kind of went.
That's
weird.
That's a whole year of life I will not get back, man. That is crazy.
Definitely is definitely crazy. So, social media, what's your handles? Let me get everybody's so they can follow. My people can follow you and keep up with the content.
Absolutely. So you're gonna want to go Facebook and Instagram is gonna be at Cigar Bar Sam. Going to be exactly the same. And then TikTok as well at Cigar Bar Sam. Now that I mentioned it, and then also go ahead on Instagram and follow us at Churchill's Cigar _Scottsdale. That's going to be the one for the shop directly. If you follow Cigar Bar Sam, we tag the shop in almost every single video that we put out there, so you can find it via that, no problem whatsoever. Right now, we have a bunch of content coming out. If you've watched The Simpsons, we're doing a Troy McClure kind of educational video. More funny than anything, but at the same time, if you read between the lines, you'll also learn some things without an owner having to tell you, and that'll save you some embarrassment. This is also an unbelievably safe place as far as a shop. If you have any questions that you think will make you look like a novice or something like that, do not worry. Please, please, please ask your operators and owners. They should not make you feel bad about asking very normal entry-level questions. All right. How do I cut? How do I light? Proper etiquette, keeping open a tab, stuff like that. Like, there's nothing wrong with asking. It shows consideration. So ask your operator, ask your bartender, if there's a certain etiquette or if they can even show you how to cut and how to light for the first couple times. It's what we're here for. It's what we're on the clock for. I promise you, no one's going to get mad. And if they are, they're in the wrong industry.
Yeah, definitely. The dumbest question is the one not asked.
Yeah, entirely. I don't know. You know what? Let's take a time out on that one because I've heard some pretty ridiculously, some pretty phenomenal questions in here. We'll say phenomenal instead of other words.
Phenomenal dumb, but the thing about it is it's dumb to maybe the person giving the answer, but the person who asked the question don't know.
Exactly. You have a much higher. You have a 9 out of 10. There's one dentist that will tell you it's a dumb question. You have 9 out of 10. Will tell you it's a great question, and they'll give you an answer. Period. We want you to be as informed as possible. It only makes our job easier. So
for sure,
any of the information that we can give you, we're here for it.
Definitely, man. I appreciate you taking out the time to chop it up with us. This is Cigars with Friend. Anything else you want to let them know before we get out of here?
I think I'm all good to go.
That's what's up. So look, if you're in the Scottsdale area or just in Arizona and want to come out and visit, make sure y'all come check out Churchill's. Give them the address.
So there's 18529 North Scottsdale Road, and that's the corner of Scottsdale and Mayo in the parking lot with cold beers and cheeseburgers. You can bring in food and all that stuff. Whatever keeps you seated, we're happy for it. So you give us a yell, go grab a cheeseburger and come hang out with us.
Yeah, definitely, man. So make sure y'all support this spot, man. It's definitely a dope spot. Like I said, Kasi will be in the humidor real soon. We're working that out. And it's just a good chill spot. You'll catch me here just randomly kicking it because I like the vibe and I like the staff. Staff's super cool. And as always, you want to feel comfortable where you're hanging out at. So make sure y'all tap into that. Make sure y'all check out Kasi Cigars, KA-SI Cigars.com. On Instagram, it's Kasi.cigars. And keep following the movement. I'm going to keep posting content. We're going to keep dropping these podcasts every week. And you can see at the ticker at the bottom of the screen. Make sure y'all like this video. Make sure y'all share it. Tell a friend to tell a friend. And so we can keep this movement growing, man. I appreciate everybody that took the time out of their Sunday to hang out with me. If you missed it live, make sure you catch the replay. We out of here.
Said I struggle to get mine. Mother from the bottom, no cover, don't lie. 365 is in dead and the phone shine. That's until I die, so I never have shine. You're from California.